And that's what got us to work with Brownside.
Okay.
Easy wanted us to work with Brownside because of Frost.
Okay.
Even though Brownside didn't get along with Frost.
Right.
It was very difficult for us because we had to figure out how to get them both to come to the studio and not run into each other. And it was a little difficult. It got a little difficult, but we were able to get through it. You know what I mean?
Before you started with the Brownside, I asked Tony the same question. How did you meet Toker? So I'm asking you, how did you come to meet Toker?
Well, I met Toker. I want to say I met him at the La Raza video shoot, but I'm not sure if it was that exact song. It may have been a different song. But I met Toker because he had a root beer brown convertible BMW at the time.
Damn.
Beautiful though, bro. Beautiful. Like it stuck out. Like it was like, damn, bro, I ain't seen a car like that. Like this dude's balling.
Yeah.
And he had that whole he was, but I didn't meet him as Toker. I met him as Beaver. He was known as Beaver first. And so I met Beav, and that's where I got to meet him first, but we didn't hang out yet. He knew some people I knew from South Central, do some street stuff too, sort of. Yeah. And so we didn't know each other, but he happened to know some people that, hey, you know my boy, you know, one of those things.
Right, right.
And so later on, we meet him. I don't remember exactly when I met him, when we sat down and talked, but we ended up talking again. But we went to reminisce. Hey, remember I met you at the oh, I take it back. He had a rim shop and sound shop, and I took my Jetta at that time to go to his spot to get it done up.
Okay.
With him and his homies. And he wasn't there, but his homies was there, and they took care of it for me. And so that's how I kind of got into getting down with them. So later on, it was like, hey, Tokes, what's up? Remember me? Oh, yeah, what's up, Julio G? Oh, yeah, man. So it was cool, and then Tony got to know him too, and then you know, Easy asked us, could we work with him, because I think he had a lot of ideas, but he just couldn't get. First of all, Toker wasn't a rapper. He just wasn't, and that's what I respected about him. Because when I first sat down and talked to him, me and Tony, he told us straight out, "Hey, homie, I'm not no rapper," and I respected that, because when I worked with him, every time he came to the studio, I always put myself in the frame of mind of like, I want to help him get his idea off. He's not a rapper though, bro. So we're not looking for skills.
Of course.
I want him to get his idea off though, because I know he had these ideas. He knew what he wanted to do. That's what. As long as you know at least where you're trying to get to, I have no problem finding the way to get you there.
Yeah.
So it was not very difficult. It was just taking our time recording him, you know, and getting his ideas off.
Yeah.
And so that's how that kind of came about. But I don't know, did Tony tell you about the first time they came and they wrote on our fence?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that was a little weird thing that happened with us. First time we come to work, Danger, rest in peace, he writes on our fence. And, you know, he wrote like Danger, Eastside 13. And when we're walking out, leaving Tony's house, we noticed it and we're like, what?
Yeah.
Hey, man, like, why would this dude do this, dude? Like, we just got out the studio with you, bro.
Yeah.
And so Tony wasn't having it. He called Toker. Hey, check this out, homie. Like, you know, respect to you and who you are and all that, but we don't do that here, big dog. And Toker was embarrassed. You know, he's like, oh, what? He did what? Oh, man. Sorry, look, Holmes. He's just a little homie. He's just a little bit of a knucklehead.
Right.
He didn't know. I think he just got excited. And I apologize, Holmes. He'll come take that shit off, Holmes. And so we ended up patching it up with Danger because he came and apologized.
Right.
But it was we gotta kind of, it was like I said, working with them was a different experience for us because it was dangerous with them because they were gangsters, bro. They were real, straight up gangsters. Now me and you grew up in the hood. Right. I grew up in the hood with some gangsters too, bro. Yes. So I'm gonna tell you that these were, okay, you're from Wilmington. This is Wilmas, right? Correct. Okay. There's Wilmas gangsters, and then you know Wilmas killers. Yes. There's a big difference, bro. There's people that gang bang and they're gangsters. Yeah, gang bang, and then you got those people like, you better watch that dude. That's what his crew was. Yes. You better watch these dudes because they're killers, bro. Yeah, I hate to say it that way, but they're about the business. Yeah. But Toker had money. That was the difference between him. Yeah. He was a cholo with bread. So all his Lolos, everything he drove, everything, his whole style, everything, he was papered up. So he had the most beautiful lowriders, dog. Like, I mean, they were gangbanging in 63s and shooting out of rag tops, bro. Like on Zenith rims, bro.
Yes.
Like, that's how gangbang they were. Because he had his gang out in Riverside too. So it wasn't just South Central. He had this gang in Riverside, and it was a whole situation. Then Toker, when we were working with him, he was on bail for a murder.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was. So it was a difficult time. Then we lost Danger in the middle. He gets killed in the middle of the recording of that record. So we had to finish that record just with Toker. And then Toker goes to jail. So when the record actually comes out, he's in jail. So we couldn't even promote the record.
Wow.
Yeah, that messed us up because we had a couple other songs we were gonna do, and so like, but that, that's what happened. And then he goes and gets a public defender and somehow fights the case, and he gets the case overturned and he gets released. And then I'm like, somebody called me and said, "Hey, Tokes is out." I'm like, "Where is he?"
What, a public defender?
Yes. After he had spent bread with his big time lawyer. That's for you guys to learn something. Just because you have a big time lawyer, you giving him a bunch of money, he'll still throw you in the slammer because he knows you're just a gangbanger and he gonna be gone for life. He gonna take your money, and that's kind of what happened to Tokes. I think that's what happened to him. So he got a public defender because he was railroaded through. He didn't do that murder. Right. It was just that they wanted him off the street.
Yeah,
they just wanted him off the street. They had a pin on him. They like, we got to get you out of here. So he ended up fighting that case, and he beat the case with a public defender. He gets out, and then they tell me he's in Mexico. And I'm like, Mexico? What's he doing in Mexico? They're like, oh, I didn't know that he wasn't an American citizen. I didn't know this.
Right.
I'm like, what? Oh man. So I went to go see him in Mexico, and we chopped it up, had a good time that time. Came back, we're gonna work on something, but it didn't pan out. But that was the last time I seen Toker.
Okay.
It was a while ago, but I went to see him right after he had got out. But he was he was a good dude though. I love him. Rest in peace, man. I love working with him. He was a funny dude. He was a gangster, but when he was cool, with us, he was super cool. He was like family, you know what I mean? He was a wonderful person. But,
let me just share something really quick before I forget. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of homies. They were from Long Beach. I won't mention their name. They were at a studio session. I guess they must have had somebody in there that knew Toker and them. And they had sampled like an oldie sample. Mm-hmm. And I guess that guy must have told, hey, they're using the same sample too. Mm-hmm. And he said, my boy told me, he goes, that dude, Toker, and all the Brownside or whoever they were, they rolled up to the studio and said, you're not using that sample. Mm-hmm.
I think that was the song Rest in Peace.
Probably.
Because it was for his brother.
Yeah.
So he asked me to do that song for him. And that was like the last song we recorded for that album. It was for his brother, that song Rest in Peace. And it uses the song, Love Between...
That's right.
A boy and girl, right? And he asked me, Julio, man, I need you to sample this. And I remember it was a big deal for him. That was like so big for him.
Yeah.
That song. And then when we were done with it, he was so emotional about it, dog. Like, he was so thankful to me. I think that's why me and Tony were such good graces with him.
Yeah.
Because we were able to get out the vision that he had for his little brother that got killed. And he made that song about him, that song Rest in Peace on his album. And if you ever listen to that first Brownside album, the East Side Drama, I interview him in the record.
Yeah.
That's me interviewing him in the record. And we talk about a lot of different things in there, you know what I mean? But I remember that song, he was so thankful, bro. Thank you, Julio, man. Thank you, man. You don't know what this means to me, dog. I feel like my record's done. Like, I needed to do this for my brother. It took me a long time. I didn't know what to do, when to do it, but now it just all fell into place. And that's why he was that serious, and he probably pulled up on him and said, you can't use that on me. Yeah, I believe it. That's Toker, man. That's Toker. He was a gangster.
He goes, bro, I didn't know what to do. It was like, these motherfuckers
You did the right thing.
Yeah.
You would have had a problem.
Yeah.
A serious one.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He goes, I didn't know what to do. And I go, did you use it? He goes, no. I go, problem solved.
There was one night, I'm going to tell you guys a story. There was one night when they had put out the song Gang Related. And they wanted the Baker Boys to play it.
Oh,
and
shit.
The Baker Boys was like, we ain't playing that. Like, that wasn't really up their alley.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not to discredit them. It's just that wasn't really their flow. They're for Friday Night Flavors. They're doing hip hop. You know what I mean? But Toker wasn't understanding that. He's not a rapper. He's from the streets, Holmes.
Of course.
So he's taking that as a disrespect. Like, oh, we got to get at that fool. We got to get at those fools.
Yeah.
And now, just to add to the story here, the Baker Boys came to L.A. through Tony G and Julio G. People don't know that.
No, I didn't.
They didn't know that. Okay, so when you go back to Kid Frost's first album, the Baker Boys produced on that record. I taught them how to use the drum machine over the phone. And so they started making beats. And they would come and they would record 1580 Kday and go back home when they were young kids, and their dad would take them to a certain part of Bakersfield where you can get the signal. And that's how they started recording us. Eventually, the dad brought them to L.A., brought the Nick V and Eric V to L.A. to one of our Kday dances, and that's how we met them. Oh. And so that's
before you continue, please, I just want to say this. When I did interview them here, they did mention Tony G, Julio G helped us. Yeah, they did say that.
Yeah, so for sure. So they used to come and stay at my house.
Okay.
Because they didn't, I wouldn't allow them to stay at hotels with all their equipment. I'd be like, nah, dog, you got to come to my house, dog. Just stay at my house.
Yeah.
Because you guys ain't safe, dog. Y'all little kids, and you from Bakersfield. I used to look out for them because I knew they were little kids. And, you know, and not little kids, but they were like a year or two younger than me. You know what I mean? So, like I said, if you go on that first album, Baker Boys produced on that early Kid Frost album.
Yes.
But, so we knew them. So I overhear Toker saying, oh, we're going to go up to Power 106 and handle them. And I already knew what that meant.
Yes.
That meant some gangster shit. And Danger was with him. So I'm like, oh, no, bro. So I tell Tony, I go, hey, Tony, bro, I think they're going to get at the Baker Boys, man. We need to holler at this dude, man. So mind you, we had just started working with them.
Yeah.
This wasn't like I knew Toker greatly at that point. So we were at our studio in El Monte, and we walked outside, and I said, hey, Toker, can I talk to you? Or can me and Tony talk to you? And we pulled him to the side, and Tony told him, he said, hey, Toker, man, we need you to do us a favor. You can't go get at these guys because they're our family, bro. Like, we know their mom and dad. Like, you know, and I did. I knew right. Nick V and Eric V's mom and dad. I felt responsible for them, me and Tony. I mean, you can't do that, dog. Can you do us a favor and let this slide? And man, I remember Toker just like quiet, like he was like no expression. And I'm thinking, oh man, because we're dealing with a gangster, dog.
Of course.
So, and not that Tony's a punk or me is a punk, but we don't even want to get into all this.
Right.
We're getting ourselves into something that's like over some other dudes, right?
Yeah.
But I'm still got to look out for these dudes because I know what these dudes will do to them. And so I can't have that happen. So Toker said to, all right, Holmes, I'm going to do this for you guys. Hey, Danger. Hey, Holmes, that shit's off, Holmes. And Danger's like, what? Oh, fuck that. He's like, hey, Holmes, I said that shit is off.
Yeah.
Man, shit. So I'm like, damn, Danger was on one. Like, he was, yeah, man. So
they were ready.
They were. So I not only saved the Baker Boys, I saved Felly Fell one time too, but not from the Brown side. I saved them from some Nickerson Garden people.
Oh,
that one day wanted to do something. That same thing. I had to jump in. I'm like, hey, bro, I know you guys, but I know Felly Fell too. He's a friend. I can't have you do that.
Right.
Because that's not his flow, bro. You're gonna just mess up your whole music business thing. I won't say who they are because they're very big today.
Yes.
Very big. They're like the biggest. I won't tell you who they are, but they are the biggest in LA. Okay. And at that time, okay, well, you know, I just say it since we're on Tony. Roadium Radio, want to keep it real. Okay, so I break J-Rock from TDE first. I broke TDE on the radio at 93.5 Kday. I go ham on J-Rock and TDE. I don't even know them. I just know that they're from Nickerson Gardens, and I knew some people from Nickerson Gardens from the relationship of being in Linwood.
Yes.
And so I wanted to help out Watts at the time. So I gave him a lot of love. And then when I met J-Rock, he brought Kendrick. He was called Kday back then. And so one thing I'm going to say about J-Rock, he's a wonderful person for this reason. After I met J-Rock, he tells me, hey, I'm dope, but this little homie right here, he's the business, bro. Like, he's the one. And you never hear rappers do that, Tony.
No,
ever.
No, you don't.
Ever.
You don't.
That's what made me respect J-Rock for that. To this day, I respect J-Rock because he let his boy, like, you know, he even though his boy blew, he took his time, he's blown too, but he never hated on Kendrick. He from the beginning with Tone, and I remember that I was like, damn man, you a good dude for doing that, right?
And you know what? Let me say, Julio, that's a beautiful thing that somebody can say he's the business, and you know you yourself rap too, or you yourself are in the business, but to show love.
And I'm blowing you up at the time. Yeah. You hot on the radio. He don't even nobody know this dude, and you telling me, I know you're doing that for me, but this is the dude, and that's why. That's
a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I salute those guys, but it was actually TDE, and I had blown them up so much that they went to Power 106. It's like, since Julio G done blown us up, it should be nothing for you guys. That's how they're thinking.
Oh.
They're thinking, look what Julio G done to care, man. Play our music. But Felly was like, And they was like, what? Oh no, we finna snatch this motherfucker up. And that's when I talk to them and I'm like, hey bro, you can't do that. Because if you do that, then your name's gonna be destroyed across this country because DJs talk to other DJs.
Yeah.
Don't do that, please, bro. I know you hot. I know you upset. It's how the radio business works, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes they ain't gonna fuck with you, dog. So you gotta let it go and move on to the next thing. Don't trip. I got you guys. And because I do fuck with Felly Fel, you know what I mean? He's my guy too, so I didn't want to see something happen to him.
Yes.
And because I knew that these dudes are like street dude. That's not Felly Fel. He's not.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's just, you don't want that. You know what I mean? So those are 2 times that I had to jump in and save some radio DJs from getting caught up in the situation on the streets. But yeah, that's how the whole thing went down with Toker, and I was sad to see what happened to him. That he passed away. You know what I mean? But he did live. He lived that street life, bro, and he lived that. So anything you hear him talk about or do or say on a record is pretty much 99% true. So yeah, he was authentic when he did his music.
I'm gonna ask my boy Alex a question. Alex, I want you to put in the comments. Do you guys want to see Julio back?